And then I'm going to end this week's pod on AI waffle, like you said. It's actually full circle to some of the stuff we're talking about with like even people being ready for MTD, people being ready for AI in general. And this is a piece of data that was State of the Nation, sponsored by Sage, was a piece that was released, and it talks about AI and accounting so far. So it cuts through the hype. Yes, AI is being used. In fact, 80% of the firms say they're already seeing at least some benefit from AI. Most of the value, though, is coming from basic efficiency gains. So things like reducing manual work, which accounts for about 41% of the benefit. So we're talking about speeding up admin, freeing up time, light touch automation, not anything transformative. And on the other side of the data, nearly 20% of firms say AI has had zero impact. Ooh. And another 20% say the impact is minimal. Again, I don't know who these firms are, but it would be very interesting to know if they're using technologies in the tech stack that actually are also assisting with AI. We've heard so much from Dex, we've heard so much from QuickBooks, we've heard from Starling, all the different ones that are all putting AI into their products right now and having an assist function. So despite all the noise, it's weird that half of the market isn't seeing a meaningful value yet. And now layer in the behavior, 66% believe that AI is already embedded in their core software, which is what we're talking about here. But 71% are still using external tools. GPT, I mean, I don't know if you're still using ChatGPT. I think it's quite good for creative. Overall, we should all just switch to Claude. But it's good for things for a bit of research, which tells you something important. AI is being used, but not trusted in the core workflows. And we're not expecting that to change anytime soon because, again, even with the releases that we've heard of this week, I guess we've seen things in QuickBooks, we've seen things from a Briefcase. Yes, can they do the job that they need to do? Can they do the reconciliation? Can they do the fixed assets? But the question really is, what happens when they get it wrong? And I think that's what most people are holding out for here. It's still a bit of a blocker. It's not the skills, it's not the cost, it's the security. And that is cited by 62% of the firms in the round. So that is definitely the rejection of maybe trusting it completely with full responsibility. And I think that maybe the only way that's going to change is if it's a specific software that you have trusted for the last few years and you've liked everything they've done, perhaps you're just more likely to trust them because you kind of think, oh, that's my zero. Zero would never betray me. My QuickBooks loves me, but even though it only gave me 15 days to change the software completely for
I
one
mean,
of my clients.
I think part of that trust issue comes from familiarity and knowledge and experience, and when it comes to using large language models. I mean, number one, what's most striking about those stats, right, is that almost every accounting firm has been using AI of some description if they've been using an OCR product or something like that for so long. So they must have seen an impact. And if they haven't seen an impact, then what the hell are they doing? Obviously, this debate now pivots purely around large language models, and they have a different kind of impact. And obviously, firms are in much more of an experimental phase with the use of large language models and AI. But I guess, like I say, the big thing comes from just utilization, and it comes from familiarity of using a product. And then as these products add more functions, so you mentioned Claude, and Claude released a whole bunch of really exciting stuff with co-work and the ability to use it in Excel and PowerPoint, for example, two big classics that accountants love. And yet they're both beta products, and if you're not on one of your business subscriptions, there is a risk that your data could be leaked. But if you don't do your own research, don't find that out, you're never going to know these things.